Let's say you're in a car and you're driving somewhere new. You've never been there before. You don't have any navigation, and suddenly you hit a crossroad. What are you going to do? Are you going to go left or are you going to go right? You're not going to sit there in your car waiting for minutes to pass by, or hours, or days, or months, maybe even years, right? You're just going to make a decision and you go for it. And that's an analogy that I once heard a creator say to his fans, to his viewers, about, just picking something and starting, because it's in the movement that we get clarity. And I completely agree with that. And it also, in his analogy, made it seem very clearly how crazy and stupid it is for people to just sit there. You can only imagine yourself, right? Sitting there in a car waiting. No, of course not. You're just going to pick something. But in real life, that's not kind of how it goes. Because oftentimes when people don't go for what they want, even though they have these aspirations of, for example, starting a YouTube channel or growing a business or venturing off into something new, the reason why they tend to sit in their car and sometimes wait for years before doing anything is not because they're lazy. It's not because they're not driven. It's because they're afraid. It's usually those hidden fears, and maybe sometimes they're not even that hidden, that are blocking them from moving forward. And how I know that? I was one of them. Right now, I'm creating my 42nd episode of this year, meaning I've been creating an episode every year starting this year. And what brought me here was a lot of trial and errors. And it wasn't even errors. The main error was that I stopped eventually. And every time I did it with, some new, like a new backpack, some new knowledge, some new motivation. But still, I wasn't able to continue and complete that mission of, showing up regularly. And so last year, I think 3 months before the new year started, I really sat down, and over the years, I obviously conquered a lot of fears. But back then, I was like, hey, I really want to do this. I really want to go full in. And so I looked every monster in the face. I turned every rock that I needed to turn around that, express itself to me. And then I also found this energy through a fashion course that I started also in that time frame. And I notice how playful it is when you do it from an artist perspective instead of an entrepreneur perspective. A lot of times when I started YouTube, I did it more also from an, you know, professional perspective. And what happens is that, everything becomes more serious and everything needs to be more perfect. And you really think a lot about, okay, how will people think about this? And is this what people need, etc., etc. And there's nothing really wrong with that. It's just that for me personally, it didn't flow, you know? It didn't flow in the way of me continuously being able to show up. Let's put it that way. And so, because I was doing this fashion course, I started to really feel that energy of playfulness, of exploration, of new learning a new skill, and being okay with making mistakes because I was a beginner. And I really felt that childlike energy again of when I was younger. And I also feel that energy whenever I, travel, for example, and you experience new things and you're in a new environment and you just have this more curiosity around this. The reason I mention this is because I unconsciously shifted from not only facing every fear that was trying to hold me back, but I also shifted from the location where I was coming at, like I wasn't coming anymore from a business point of view or from what other people might do. I was really coming from, I'm an artist and I want to create art, and my expression is going to be my free flow. It's going to be the form of how I'm going to show up. And therefore, it has become very effortless for me to do this every day because I'm like, okay, I'm just going to express whatever I want to express today. Like we don't have a block when it comes to talking. We can always say something. And I was like, that's enough for me to just do that. Now, I really feel, because I've been experimenting a lot. I've been experimenting a lot without knowing that it was an experiment. So I'm going to give you an example. Yesterday, I created a meditation. Yesterday morning, I went to Groove, which is like this beach moment of beautiful people coming together here at the beach. And at the end, we were doing a meditation, and I really loved it. And I really felt like, I need more of that right now. And so when I got home, I basically put on a camera and I was like, you know what? For today's episode, I'm just gonna guide me, myself, you guys, everybody that wants to see it. I'm just gonna guide us in that meditation. I did it in one take. I did it unscripted. I did it without even thinking about it because there was no fear or block that was holding me back, thinking like, what are you doing? Or this is not part of the concept, or nothing like that. I just did it because I had only one like rule, and that was art is like the expression is the art. And every day, whatever is in life in me, I want to express. And so, because it was such a gentle, beautiful way to look at it, it has liberated me to free flow and to experiment without seeing it as an experiment. Mind you, if you would have told me last year, Ash, you're going to create a meditation, I would have sat down for hours, scripts, think about the right theme, look for hours to find the right song on the background, check out the sound, the location. I will probably even spend hours creating some kind of B-roll footage so that you don't see me sitting there. No, it was just me in my bedroom, um, and just whatever I felt wanted to come true, I was expressing that. It's actually what I do with clients too in our one-on-ones. I give them a visualization whenever that's needed. And it's always custom and it's always exactly what they need. And so I was just trusting on that. Like, no, I know exactly what I need to do. And I was not even thinking about it. It was afterwards that I was like, oh my God, you know how many years I wanted to make a meditation and now I just did it like that. And the funny thing is, even in the meditation, I was mentioning that, all it takes is just 5 minutes to unwind. And eventually it was like a 16-minute clip. And I'm like, wow, it took me 60 minutes to create, and I was so enjoying it. I was so in my own, little bubble that I didn't even notice the time passing by so fast. Another example is this. The other day I went to Tulum to pick up some pottery, and I created it over Christmas. And I knew, well, that's going to be the expression of the day because I'm going to be in Tulum all day, right? So I took you guys with me. And so now suddenly I'm a vlogger. Like, I'm like, okay. I didn't really anticipate on doing that either, but it's like there are no rules. There's no format I have to adhere. It's just me and my fullest expression. And so there are two things that I really want to come across with this video. And that's for the people that have this dream, this desire, and they're constantly blocking themselves of starting. And I'm here to tell you, you're not lazy. It's not that you're not driven. It's not that you don't believe in yourself. It's really because of these fears that are holding you back. And if you need help with that, this is what I do best. So in the description, you can find a way to work with me, or all the ways you can work with me. And the second thing is this: maybe consider changing the professional thing into a more artistic way of doing things, because that helped me a lot to let go of perfectionism, to let go of, formats and all of that, and to really be open to experiment with life and enjoy the process while doing it. So yeah, the whole thing with the creative thing right now, just as a little FYI, I'm wearing a top which I created. Give me a second. So I started this fashion course last year, right? I started last year, and I started with just creating something from scratch. But I decided to continue doing it because of the joy of going to that class, to really have something dedicated for myself. And this time around, I decided to recycle my clothes, the things that I don't wear anymore, to give it new life. And there was this beautiful long dress that I never really wore because it was just too white for me. I felt older in that dress, but everything was still beautiful. It was a beautiful, silky, pinky dress. And so what I did was I made a summer dress out of it. I have an episode on that. And so because we cut a lot of fabric to make it a summer dress, I had a beautiful fabric left, and I decided to create this top. I have a white top that I really love wearing all the time. I'm actually wearing it in yesterday's episode, I just realized it's white. It's from linen, and I was inspired to create the same kind of top, but then from this fabric. And so, guys, creation has been the answer for me all along, and I just didn't know. I didn't know, but I had to walk on the unpaved path. I had to not follow navigation, just like in that story. And it brought me to, experiencing this energy that gives me this aliveness and makes me want to flirt with life. And I'm now wearing stuff again that I haven't worn for so long, and reappreciating the things that I already own. And you know, please, please, please tell me if in some way, shape, or form you get the concept of what I'm saying, to do things differently and to go back to your own, like inner child and play again. And from that play and facing those scary monsters underneath your bed, you get the all your dreams coming true. I promise you that. I promise you that. Because all those little monsters are just knocking on your door to help you liberate yourself even more, so that you can express more freely, so that you can be the uniqueness of who you are. And I'm just so happy and proud that after facing so many fears, because they were real, they were very real, that now I get to create in the moment without feeling the need to script, without feeling the need to control things. I actually saw I love her. I'm not gonna name her name, but it's an artist too. Like, she's a creator on YouTube, and um, she hit millions, and she made millions, and I think she also hit the million subscribers. So she's big, and then she stopped for a long time because she just lost herself in that whole process. And then the other day, she posted something about how she is now really allowing herself to express freely without a script, and that she's learning that. And I'm like, oh my God, like, even someone who's so good in what she does, she's so professional, she's so well spoken. She still felt she needed that all the time. And it's the most bravest thing to do, to just be yourself and to stay close to yourself so that you don't have to lose yourself along the way. If you always show up real, man, it's a gift, guys. It's a gift. And I am just here being that embodiment, and I'm documenting everything along the way. And I'm here to give you guys that permission slip and to give you the insights that I needed to help you with this too. Because, it could be this change that can change everything. To stop seeing yourself as lazy, and to really see that what's really holding you back are these fears, and that you're so driven, and you're so passionate, and you're so talented. But to do it from a different angle. Instead of chasing the money and chasing maybe even the fame and just chasing whatever you need outside, to give yourself the permission to play, to be an artist again. My mom gave my son, who just got back from Holland, from the Netherlands, a mug, and he got to paint his own mug. And I have my own here, which I also made by myself. And it's just beautiful. Like, his name is here too, Figo. It's just beautiful that he has his own little mug now. But as kids, we allow ourselves to do that, and to paint and to just do whatever. Why not as adults? Why not as adults? It doesn't make you less professional. It doesn't make you crazy. It makes you freaking authentic. It makes you freaking real. It makes you freaking audacious. It makes you freaking magnetic, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I would love to hear from you. And I see you tomorrow in the next episode. Bye bye.